I was completely naked when I opened my eyes. I glanced around and recognized the hotel room Nathan and I had booked for our third wedding anniversary. I couldn't remember what happened last night, but seeing my body, I could tell it was a difficult night. Nathan isn't usually so rough. However, I had no memory of it. Lost in thought and trying to recall the previous night, I was surprised when the bathroom door suddenly opened and Nathan came out, drying his hair as if he'd just finished a shower. My heart skipped as he looked up and met my eyes in the mirror. "Oh, you're awake," Nathan said softly, like he wasn't sure how loud he was allowed to be. I pulled the sheet higher around my body, suddenly self-conscious. "Yeah, I am." My voice sounded hoarse, unfamiliar. "What time is it?" He checked his watch, then hesitated. That hesitation sent a ripple of unease through me. "Almost noon." "Noon?" I frowned. "That's unusual for me. I hardly ever drink, Nathan. How did I sleep so late? What happened last night?" He paused before answering, setting the towel aside and moving closer to the bed with careful, deliberate steps, as if approaching something delicate. "You don't remember last night?" he inquired. I concentrated, trying to recall, and then faint memories appeared. Dim lights, laughter, the clink of glasses, and his warm hands in mine. But then everything else was just a blank. "I remember dinner, the toast you made, and you said something about forever," I said quietly. Then I added, "and then nothing." Nathan's jaw tensed. For a brief moment, a shadow of guilt, perhaps fear, crossed his face, but it quickly disappeared. "You fainted," he said. I fainted? That didn't feel right. My body ached in places that fainting wouldn't explain. My wrists, my hips, and a deep, heavy soreness that made my cheeks burn with questions I couldn't voice. "Yes," he continued quickly. "You said you felt dizzy. I brought you back here. The doctor at the hotel clinic said it might have been exhaustion." "Then why do I feel like this?" I asked, gesturing vaguely under the sheets. "Why does it feel like we..." He cut me off almost immediately. "We were intimate. You wanted me. You made that very clear." A heavy silence fell between us, thick and uneasy. I loved my husband and trusted him, but the way he avoided meeting my eyes made my stomach flutter with unease. "Nathan," I said carefully, "you know I'd never forget something important, especially not our anniversary." He finally looked at me then, really looked, and his voice dropped. "Not everything that happens is meant to be remembered." A chill crept up my spine. Before I could respond, there was a sharp knock at the door. Nathan stiffened. "I'll get it," he said, already turning away. As he crossed the room, I noticed something on the nightstand that hadn't been there before. A small white pill bottle, half unlabeled, half hidden behind the lamp. And suddenly, I knew. Whatever happened last night wasn't just missing from my memory, it had been taken. My heart started racing the moment I saw that pill bottle. It wasn't mine. I don't take medication. I barely take painkillers unless I'm dying. Nathan had reached the door by then. "Who is it?" Nathan called out, his voice tight. "Room service," a man replied from the other side. Nathan glanced back at me. For a split second, panic flickered across his face before he masked it with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I didn't order anything," I said slowly. "I did," he replied quickly. "Breakfast. You need to eat." Something about the way he said "need" made my skin prickle. He opened the door just enough to take the tray, blocking my view of the hallway with his body. I watched him closely as he tipped the man and shut the door, locking it immediately. That sounds, the click of the lock, landed heavy in my chest. "You're acting strange." Nathan sighed, forcing a soft laugh. "You're imagining things. You scared me last night, Eve. Anyone would be on edge." "Why?" I asked. "What exactly happened after dinner?" He set the tray down, avoiding my eyes. "You drank more than usual. You said you trusted me. Then you passed out." That word again. Passed out. My fingers curled into the sheets. "Nathan, did I consent to everything that happened?" He froze, just for a second. Then he nodded. "Of course you did. I'm your husband." That should have comforted me. Instead, it made me sick. Because my body didn't feel like it belonged to someone who had been loved gently, my wrists felt sore, like they'd been held down. My thighs ached. There was a dull, unfamiliar pain low in my stomach. And worst of all, there was a scent on my skin I didn't recognize. Not Nathan's cologne, but something darker, colder. I swallowed hard. "I want to shower." Nathan's shoulders relaxed. Good idea. As he turned away, I reached for the pill bottle, hiding it beneath the sheet. I didn't confront him. I wish I could say I did, but I didn't. I was married to Nathan for 3 years. He was my college sweetheart, the man who held my hand through exams, through my mother's illness, through the broke years when love felt like enough. So I told myself I was paranoid. I threw the pill bottle away without reading it. That was my first mistake. Life returned to normal, or maybe what passed for it. Nathan was attentive, loving, and almost too careful with me, like he was afraid I might shatter if he touched me wrong. He cooked, cleaned, bought me flowers, just because. If guilt had a smell, it would have been all over him. 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant. I remember staring at the test for a full 10 minutes, my hands shaking. We'd tried before, but it never worked. I burst into tears. Nathan lifted me off the floor and spun me around laughing. "We're going to be parents," he said. For the first time in months, I believed everything was okay. I didn't know that somewhere across the city, a man I had once saved, whose name I didn't even remember, was standing by a window staring at my photo, knowing that the child growing inside me was his. 4 years before my marriage, I found a man bleeding in an alley. I still remember it was raining that day, the way his blood mixed with the water and how pale his face was, how dark, sharp, and terrifyingly calm his eyes were as they locked onto mine. "Help me," he said. I should have run, but instead, I helped him. I cleaned his wounds, gave my coat, called a cab, and paid the driver extra to take him to a private clinic. He held my wrist before leaving. His grip was strong despite the blood loss. "What's your name?" he asked. "Eve Max," I said. "Yun Shen," he replied. "I'll find you." I laughed then. I thought he was delirious. I never expected him to keep that promise. My pregnancy was smooth. Nathan became distant after the second trimester, but I blamed stress, work, money. Then the baby was born. The room went silent. I didn't understand why at first. Then I saw their faces. The nurses exchanged looks. One of them smiled too tightly. Nathan didn't come closer. My son had dark hair, sharp features, eyes that weren't Nathan's. "Whose child is that?" Nathan asked coldly. I laughed, still exhausted. "Stop, that's not funny." He stepped back. "You cheated on me." The word hit me harder than labor ever could. I was lost for words. Until I saw my baby, he truly didn't look like Nathan. I could not understand what was happening. That night, Nathan called me a whore. All I could do was beg and cry. I can't understand where it all went wrong. 3 days later, he told me that if I didn't keep quiet, he'd make sure the baby disappeared. That's when my phone rang. Unknown number. "You don't know me," the voice said calmly, "but your husband sold you, and your child belongs to me." I dropped the phone, and that was the moment my life truly ended. I didn't sleep that night. Every time my baby stirred beside me, my heart slammed against my ribs like it was trying to escape. I kept replaying the voice on the phone in my head, calm, deep, and unfamiliar. "Your husband sold you. Sold me, like I was a thing." At dawn, Nathan came home smelling of alcohol and arrogance. He didn't look at the baby, didn't look at me. "You should start packing," he said casually, like he was asking me to do laundry. "Where?" I asked shakingly. "Where I say." He leaned down, his eyes cold. "And you're going to behave, because if you don't, accidents happen." I held my son tighter. That night, my phone buzzed again, unknown number. "Me. Who are you?" "Him. Someone who knows the truth." "Me. What truth?" "Him. That you were drugged, that your husband was paid, that you didn't betray your marriage. He did." I couldn't breathe. My hands trembled so badly I nearly dropped the phone. "Me. You're lying." "Him. I wish I were." Then a photo appeared on my screen. Nathan shaking hands with a tall man in a black suit. Another photo followed. A bank transfer. 20 million. I screamed. I don't remember falling to the floor, but suddenly I was there, sobbing into the tiles while my baby cried from the bed. "Me. Why are you telling me this?" "Him. Because your husband plans to kill your child." "Me. Why would you care?" There was a long pause. Then, "Because he is my son." The world went quiet. 3 days later, black SUVs pulled up outside our house. Nathan panicked. "What did you do?" he yelled, grabbing my arm so hard I cried out. Before he could say more, the door burst open. Men in black suits flooded the room like shadows given form. One of them gently took my baby from my arms. "Don't touch my child!" I screamed. A familiar voice cut through the chaos. "Bring her." They blindfolded me. When the blindfold came off, I was in a massive cold hall. Marble floors, steel railings, silence heavy with power. Nathan and Anna were already there. Anna was crying, but Nathan wasn't. Then he walked in, a tall and well-composed man, his eyes sharp as blades. I knew him, not from now, but from years ago. From the rain, from blood-stained concrete, from a night I'd convinced myself didn't matter. Yun Shen? I whispered. His gaze softened when it landed on me. You remembered, he said. Nathan laughed nervously. Sir, you said you'd protect me if I cooperated. Yun Shen raised a hand. Nathan's voice died instantly. Did you enjoy selling your wife? Yun Shen asked calmly. Nathan stuttered. She was just... The slap echoed. Anna screamed in fear. Yun Shen turned to me. Eve, you deserve the truth. He told me everything. How Nathan had never loved me. Anna had been sleeping with him for years. How they planned to drain my inheritance and disappear. Then Yun Shen dropped the final bomb. The child you think is Nathan's, he said, his eyes never leaving mine. He is mine. Nathan lunged, but the guards restrained him. And your precious son with Anna, Yun Shen continued, turning to Nathan. Not yours. Anna screamed, collapsing to the floor. Nathan was speechless. He found the truth hard to believe. How can Anna betray him? He thought maybe Yun Shen was pulling his legs to get back at him. I felt numb. Yun Shen stepped closer to me, kneeling. I never meant to hurt you, he said quietly. I thought you knew. I was wrong. I will spend my life paying for that. I slapped him, very hard. The sound rang through the hall. I hate you, I said, my voice breaking. I hate all of you. He closed his eyes. I know. Nathan saw that everything was changing. He knew he needed to beg to escape the hell Yun Shen was about to take him to. He begged, cried, and promised never to come near me or my son ever again. Yun Shen listened silently. Then he spoke. Cut out his tongue, he said calmly, so he never sells another soul. Nathan screamed. I turned away, shaking. The divorce papers were signed that night. Anna ran away with her son and Nathan's money. Nathan was left broken. As I held my baby, Yun Shen approached me one last time. He won't force you, he said, but my enemies will never stop hunting you. Come with me. Let me protect you. I looked down at my son, then back at the man who destroyed my life, and saved it. I'm not forgiving you, I said. I don't expect forgiveness, he replied. Then take us, I whispered, but don't expect my heart. China was beautiful. I was not. I lived like ice. We co-parented in silence, separate rooms, no touches, no smiles. Yun Shen never pushed. He brought tea for me when I was sick, sat outside my door when I cried, protected my son like a sacred thing. One night, I found him asleep on the floor outside my room. That's when my heart cracked. And one day, I said his name without hate. Love didn't come suddenly. It crept in apologies whispered at night, in hands that never took without permission, in a man who waited years for forgiveness he never demanded. I chose him. Our second child was born 5 years later. This time, I remembered everything. Nathan died in a psychiatric hospital, and Anna vanished. I tell this story now because silence protects monsters, and because sometimes love is born from fire. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. Some betrayals don't come from strangers. They come from the people we trusted with our bodies, our names, our futures. I didn't tell this story for pity. I told it because silence protects the wrong people, and because healing sometimes begins the moment we finally speak. If this story touched you, even a little, please like this video. It helps more than you know. Subscribe to Story by Dia for more real, emotional stories about love, betrayal, and redemption. And let me know in the comments, do you believe some sins are unforgivable? Or do you think love can survive even the darkest truth? Until the next story, take care of your heart.